All right. So we are rocking and rolling. I have the awesome privilege, y'all, of getting Miss Lucinda Cross in my space. Well, in my virtual space, I am so honored to have you. And people say that all the time. These are not just words. I met you, I think it was in 2013. And we're gonna fast forward, and then we're gonna rewind and just kind of talk about how I even came to know this powerhouse of a woman. I would like you to introduce yourself. There are things that I know about you and things that are on social media, but I really want people to know who you are from from Lucinda, from the seat of Lucinda. So take a minute and tell everybody who you are.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is just so dope. I'm just honored to be here. Like anytime you get an invitation, I tell people don't take it for granted when another woman recognizes you and sees your light. So thank you for seeing my light. I see your light.
Absolutely.
So let's shine. So Lucinda Cross is, I the oldest of four.
Oh,
So that gives you a little level of my protection and type of this is where the perfectionism came
yeah.
in. But the oldest of four, the only girl. I have
Wow.
three children. I call them three dragons. They're 20, 17, and 11. Yes.
Quick pause. Why
And
are they dragons?
because they just don't stop. It's like every time something come out of their mouth, it's like breathing fire. It's like, who needs something now?
Gotcha.
Like, like why? Why y'all can't be? Yeah, so they three
Gotcha.
dragons, and I was a big Game of Thrones fan, so
Oh, okay. Got it.
but and just I'm a woman who is a true believer, of course, a believer in God, but a believer in women and pushing them forward. I don't believe any woman should keep silent when she has so much to say and so much to do in this world. I'm an entrepreneur. I own two businesses. I've been in business since 2006. Shut my business down in 2009 because of procrastination and hateration and missing opportunities on my own accord, not listening to my mentor, and then
Gotcha.
rebranded myself and came out swinging. My nonprofit is the second business, Activate Your Life. The first one is Activate Worldwide.
Mhm.
It is my passion project because it helps women reentry, part of my own backstory of reentering into the society when I was in my young 20s and having no direction. So I created like a mentor mentee type of organization that provides education, entrepreneurship, and empowerment. And, I would say at this day in my, age, I'm 44, proud to say it. Sometimes I even lie. So people could be like, "Whoa, you look really good." I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I'm 50, 52." They like, "Girl, what are you doing?" So, I'm a big jokester,
Yes.
but I stand on truth. At the end of the day, I don't believe that, authenticity and quote unquote keeping it real has to have a tone behind it.
Yes.
But I'm definitely a truth teller from my standpoint. If I say I'm doing nothing, I don't need you to try to put anything on my calendar. I'm gonna, people are like, "Well, what you doing today?" Don't try to put nothing on my calendar. This is, family will do that to you, try to
I
get you
love
all
it.
caught
Love
up.
it.
So I ain't like, "You're not doing nothing. You could watch my." No, I can't. I'm taking a nap. I'm taking multiple
This
of
is
them.
my
So
time. This is my
yes,
time.
yes. So
Absolutely.
that's who I am. That's who I am.
That's amazing. See, I'm glad you did the introduction because I didn't know that you were the eldest of your siblings. Being the oldest child comes with a whole lot of responsibility
Oh yeah.
and a whole lot of rites of passage.
Come on. You better say it exactly.
And
Yeah.
I think it positions us for leadership as well because I'm the oldest of three, and there's three
Mm.
girls. So I have the
Oh,
opposite, right? I have
woo.
the opposite dynamic. So that growing up in a house of women, and then my dad. So it was the feminine energy, the female energy was definitely at an all time high. So awesome. I'm just going to jump right in. I don't have an order of questions. Something
Let's
that you
go.
something that you brought up that I definitely wanted to talk about in the interview because you come into people's life at certain points, and it's like walking in on a movie. And
Mm.
the part of your life I walked in, the part of your movie was you were fresh out of Essence, and just telling your story about vision boards and how it came about. And so can we jump in here and talk about the United States government versus Lucinda Cross?
Oh, Jesus. That's the next book, baby. That's the next book. You heard it right here. You heard it right
Yes,
here.
yes.
You'll get your 10%. You'll get your 10%.
Let's jump in. Let's jump in on that. Because a lot, like I said, a lot of people walk in, on the part of the movie, say the Pretty Woman movie. Everybody's seen that. It's like a classic. And if you walk in on the end when Richard Gere comes in on the white horse to save her, you miss the part where she had a life that was less desirable, that, she wanted to be a different person. So let's talk about that before we move forward.
Yeah, so Lucinda Cross versus the United States was me, first time nonviolent offender, being a naive teenager, thinking that I know it all. But also it stems back, and I don't use it as an excuse, being the oldest and the only girl. You're the mom.
Yes.
You're the mom, while mom tries to run and do what she needs to do, or dad tries to do what he needs to do. And so I felt the need, because we grew up in the projects. I didn't know we were poor, because everybody had the same stuff.
Yes.
But then getting into my first year of college, I'm realizing that there's a big difference, the haves and the have-nots.
Mhm.
And, in that position, there's perpetrators, and you name it, drug dealers, and you name it, trying to solicit girls to transport and do this and do that. And so they said, listen, all you got to do is drop a bag, pick a bag up, drop a bag, pick a bag up. We'll give you this money. And I'm like, I've never even had this kind of money in my life. That's all I got to do.
Right.
Because I wasn't into doing strange for change. So
Right.
I was like, I'll pick a bag up, and drop a bag off. And, not realizing that I was a part of a larger case. It was 28 co-defendants, females, and we all went down. And the case was from Chicago. Here I am in New York,
Wow.
not realizing that I was a part of a telephone conspiracy. Okay. Yeah. And so everything that they had was just off of word, never caught me with anything. But I had to serve 4.5 years in federal prison behind it. And it was, devastating for the family, but a game changer for me in my life.
So tell me what it felt like, when you arrived and figured out, okay, this is my reality for right now. How do you process being, a female, number one, uh, a wonderful person in the family, the person your siblings looked up to? I mean, how do you process that? The night and day of the worlds that collided.
That it was the scariest thing, not knowing that I'm in a position that my mother can't help me.
Yeah.
Mamas can get you, or daddies can get you out of everything you feel. And so being in that position, that first, those first couple of nights, I'll never forget. It was just straight knots, no sleep, because you don't know what's going on. You hear, and you're thinking about stories that's on TV about when you get inside, you're gonna get raped, you're gonna get beat up. But it wasn't like that. And because my mother groomed me, she was a double psychology major. She groomed us into creative visualization, meditation, removing your mindset, shifting your energy. I knew how to, all right, shift your energy real quick. Don't look scared. Don't be scared. Stay positive. Don't look at where you're at right now. And that kind of held me, but also, got to be honest, the embrace of some of the older women. They were like, what is this baby doing in here? And, I already knew, you get in there, you don't talk about your case, you don't talk about, but they were like, listen, we want to tell you the rules. Don't talk about your case, don't get nothing from nobody, don't do no favors. So, they just kind of embraced me. And I just wanted to know in my head, this has to be a dream. This is not real. This is not. They're gonna call me and I'm gonna go home tomorrow. Nobody caught me with anything. Like it's. So I'm like, when is this? And this was around the holidays. I got locked up October 11th in '96, and you figure Thanksgiving, my first Thanksgiving in prison, my first Christmas in prison, my mother not having her daughter. So it was, and then hearing around Christmas that I have to be extradited from New York to Chicago. It was horrible. It was horrible. And you immediately have to create like this shell of, I'm not going to be fazed by this, or I'm going to be crazy.
Right. What stuck out the most, with everything that you said, was that women, the older women, embraced you. And women have the unique ability to nurture and to just take somebody under their wing. So, shouts out to the women who stepped up and
Yes.
who were what you needed when you needed that. And that's what I love most about women, when we're in our true state or true sense of being, that we can take another woman, and I say this all the time, there's a seed of greatness inside every woman. Find a woman and water her. And so I think
Yes.
that is exactly what they did. And uh correct me if I'm wrong, they attributed to where you sit today and who you are today. um
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
They're
just
called prison moms inside. They're
really.
called prison moms. Is that's you say that's my prison mom. That's my prison mom. So they call them prison moms inside. Yeah.
So let's get back. Let's fast forward, a little bit to me meeting you, and I think I don't
Mhm.
remember what year it was. You were in Essence for your vision boards, and globally, just kind of, it was a sensation. You were everywhere. Uh, well, those cardboards were everywhere, and women were getting engaged. Were becoming engaged in something that probably was a something that has always existed, but for me, you made the thing so tangible and so real. So tell me about how that transpired. I know you said your mom did a lot of the back work, the heavy lifting mentally, but how do we get from to I'm gonna do vision boards?
Yeah. So, and I did them in prison. So on my way out, on my way home, I used to help some of the ladies do vision boards right on the compound. There was no women projects. So when I brought the vision board home and I said, well, at this time it was a vision journal. And I said, what are some of the things that I want to accomplish? Let me go back to school. Let me
Yes.
get a job. Let me start my business. I want to write a book, repair my relationship with my mother. And so I always had like 5 things: the faith, family, friends, finances, and fitness. Even in prison, I
Mhm.
had that on my vision board. And so I took it home and then I looked at it and I said, man, I'm accomplishing many of these things. As I started to connect with my mentor and get into business, I started implementing the vision board process with my clients. A lot of them weren't doing it,
Yeah.
and then I think it started to really, they started to embrace it more. I think The Secret came out. I never watched it, but we called them
Yes.
creative visualization journals and boards and stuff. But when The Secret came out, then it became a little more popular. But for me, it was something I did with my clients, and still just the backstory of how I used the vision board to turn my life around and to succeed on certain levels, you know, that's what attracted the media and people that
Yeah.
I would connect with. They're like, oh my God, my friend works at such and such. They need to hear this story. And what? Show me, what is your vision board? Show me what this thing looks like. And so everybody wanted to see the original vision board. And
Yes.
so, I just started creating more and more. I had my family, got married, everything. And so I said, all of this stuff was on my vision board, y'all. I'm not kidding. And I told them, listen, it's not a Ouija board. It's
Right.
just, to me, it's something that I needed it when I was in a hopeless place, to have some sort of motivation and inspiration. And if you feel like you're stuck, create a vision board that you can look at to say, where am I going? What does it look like when I get there? And so that just took off from Essence to Dr. Oz to the
Yes.
Today Show to, it was a media snowball effect
It was.
from, I think, from 2016 to 2017 to then doing the BET Queen Boss Show. And
Yes.
then that spiraled out into now a Walmart contract to, have my vision board kits inside, because the women were like, well, how can we get the kits to the halfway houses for the women? Or
Yeah.
how can we get the kits in the prisons? Like, how do we do this thing? And I said, you know what? Let me create something.
Yes.
And that those kits now were being sold in Walmart. So it just took a life of its own. But once again, it was all part of the plan and the vision.
Yeah.
And from there, it just elevated my speaking career, me as a coach, and this is many of the stuff. I used to do motivational presentations right on the compound. They're like, here, go little half pint. What little half pint got to say today? But nobody was inspiring us. So I
Right.
had my little fake microphone and I'm like, listen, we're gonna
Fake
win. We're
microphone.
gonna make it. Yeah, my little fake microphone. So it's like, you go from having a lotion bottle or shampoo bottle as your microphone to now every time I touch your mic, I just remember, how I was on a compound with
Yes.
hundreds of women, just telling them, listen, we can make it, we got this. And, here we are today. I was in my purpose at that point.
And it's not just words. It's really not just words. The Bible tells us, and we're both women of faith. The Bible tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And
Yes.
when you were talking, your vision board was your evidence of the things that
Yes.
people could not see, that were not tangible, were not in the earth realm yet, that hadn't manifested.
Yes.
But I got my vision board. I do have evidence that this stuff exists. You just can't see it now. I can see it.
Can see it.
I
Yes.
can see it. And so making that connection, people, then it became a fad, I think, the whole vision board thing. But you have to have a vision before the vision board.
Come on. Come
Have
on.
to have a vision
Come
before
on.
the vision board, or you'll never be able to manifest those things. That stuff was in your heart. It wasn't just some paper, and glue and poster boards. That was actually in your heart. I mean, you standing
Yes.
on the yard speaking to women, saying you can make it in a hopeless situation. That's gospel. That's the gospel right there.
Come on. Come on.
It
Come
comes in
on.
different forms. So thank
Come
you for
on.
thank you for all that you have done and all you continue to do to be a champion for us women. Want to appreciate you for that. So let's talk about some of the stuff Lucinda is doing now. So
Come on now.
I've been watching you, of course, for a while. Like I said, I met you when we did that vision board in Savannah with Phyllis, and we were so happy. And I look back at the flyer now, and the flyer had like 20,000 images on it. I was like, I was like,
But it was all right. It
right?
was
People showed up, and you
yeah.
changed lives. You really did, and it was, it's so good to see how far we've all come. It's amazing. We did the best we could with what we
Yes.
knew at that point. So you said something. I was on one of your Instagram lives or something. You said, "I don't need a seat at the table. I bring the table to the table." Now that's like
Mm.
totally, totally boss. That's boss right there. Let's talk, let's hang our hat there for a minute and talk about that.
Yeah, because a lot of times, and I'll talk about myself, I would be like,
Yeah,
man, I just need a seat at the table.
yeah,
Can somebody give me an opportunity, open the door, and I'm going to take advantage of it. And I said, you know what? I'm so tired of getting involved and trying to be a part of this clique and this network and this circle
mhm,
just to get a seat at the table. Why don't I create my own? Why don't I bring the opportunity to the table and say, all right,
come on,
this is what we're going to do, not how can I, this is what we're going to do. Do you want in or not? And so taking ownership of my space changed my approach and even how I began to be a leader, even in my industry.
mhm,
And I had to shift it to saying, all right, I don't need a seat. That's okay. But I'm bringing some value to what you already
right,
have,
absolutely,
and do you want it or not? Because there's other rooms and tables. And now it's like, I don't even want the table. Let me get the room. You could bring the table. You could bring the chairs.
yeah,
I want the room because I got to make sure that the space is what it needs to be. So it's
yes,
all about owning space
yeah,
and
that's the
and
business.
standing in your power. Mhm.
That's the business right there. So you're a 2 times TEDx speaker. Yeah.
Woo.
Right. Let's clap for that. So let me ask you this. We're in a world of entrepreneurship where you can start a business, you can get an EIN number, you can get an LLC, all this other stuff. So the dynamics of business have completely changed as we
Yes.
know it, especially for women. So I wrote a question down to specifically ask you, you will hear the term climbing the corporate ladder. We're climbing the corporate ladder, but corporate kind of is for some people it's a disdain. It's like, I don't want that.
Mhm,
And so,
mhm.
what, in your opinion, what has replaced the corporate ladder? What are women now climbing or to get to?
Yeah, I think everyone now is climbing to get to be the top in their game. That to be the top in their game. And there's and what I see is a trend of, women saying, I can be good at this and I'm also good at that. I want to run two ships.
Hmm.
Something has to jump off, or both of them have to jump off. And I see where they're creating multiple streams of income on the start. You know, I need a book, a vending machine business, you know, the travel agency. And so it's multiple things going on, even though, you know, when we were brought up, it was like, you know, focus on one thing, stay laser focused. But what I see now, especially with the millennials, they're embracing it all. But for those even in our industry, we're like, how can I lend a bigger voice, a mega voice to support those who are on their way up? And so climbing the corporate ladder to me now looks like we're creating networks and associations and movements. You know, look at Tamika Mallory taking who taking politics to another, or civil rights to another level, now turning it into a movement. So we're now creating movements all across the board.
That's awesome. Again, I keep going back to this, you know, coming in on, you know, a person's story and not knowing their backstory or not knowing what it took to get there. Tell us about a time, because again, we see people as giants and icons, and yes, they are such. But tell us about a time where you're like, you know, I'm quitting. This is it. Like, I'm good. Tell us about a time
Yeah,
when
you
you
know,
were frustrated and you know, maybe you didn't like 100% want to quit, but you felt like you wanted to quit.
yeah, you know, I went down into, you know, this overworked and underpaid rabbit hole, and it took the passion out. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like I'm fighting to get compensated for the value that I bring. And I got frustrated with criticism. I got frustrated with lack of support. I got frustrated with trying to do all the things, you know, and not having the team that I needed, because, you know, people were doing half the job and wanting full pay. And so it got very frustrating when I'm, you know, trying to market to get new clients, and then the clients that I'm getting don't want to pay. Then I got to cut my prices down so that I can make ends meet. And I said, I don't know if I could do this. You know, maybe I could take my skill set elsewhere. Maybe I need to dive back into corporate America, because this is too much. And I took some time off because I was just like, this brand and service offering is not working. I need to shift it. But they're telling me hire a coach. Well, how do you hire a coach when you broke as a joke? They telling me I need a marketing team. How do I hire a marketing team when I can't even pay for one ad? The marketing team is
check.
I need a check. I need a couple of checks. So it was, everything was, you got to invest in yourself. You invest in yourself, you'll see the success. But it's like, I need to get the funding. Like I have the skill set, I need to market. And so I said, you know, let me sit back, rip this thing apart and start from scratch. And that's what I did. Because and during those months, it was deep and dark. You know, I couldn't pay my bills.
I like that.
I didn't feel like being bothered. And I was just like, God, I need to, if this is what I need to do, I need to see a breakthrough somewhere, or else I'm giving up, because I can't do this. And all I kept hearing is, don't throw in the towel, trust the process. Don't throw in the towel, trust the process. And I said, I'm gonna give it one more try, man. God, you know your daughter, you know, like, you know me. You know, you always respond in 11th hour. I'd appreciate if you come in on the 3rd hour, you know, before I have all the stress and anxiety.
That's just like God. So could you, for the person that's in those shoes right now, it's like, I want to give up. I don't know what to do. I know I need to hire this person. I know I need a team, but I don't have it right now. Could you give them one or two, because 3 is gonna cost you. You're gonna have to pay for 3. You're gonna have to hire her for 3. She gonna give you.
That's right. I would say the first thing to do is to take a look at the business that you have. Who is it catered to, and meet and doing like a market type of analysis on your own. Because sometimes we're going after the wrong clientele. And so when you look at your clientele, the people that you're expecting to pay you $10, $15, $5,000, are they in that position? You know, is your client, who are you marketing to? Because you may not need ads. You can work on developing relationships if you're in the right network. So I think it's key to do a whole market analysis. What am I offering? What is the solution? What is the problem? What's the solution? who really needs this,
Right.
and how can I provide it for them? I would think my market is helping women and tapping into women. My market is going to connecting with nonprofits and corporations. They already have the women.
Yeah.
So this way, I don't have to try to market to one. I
Mm.
mean, to a million women. I market to one and I can get to the million women,
Come on, that's a word.
So
That's a word. I always think in pictures when I see that, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Mhm.
what I saw was, a person fishing with one pole, going to women, to
That's
women,
it.
but going to the business is going in there with a net. And then when you
Come
cast
on.
that net, you get to drag everything in there. So, oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
That's exactly how it's shared, because it's when we look, and that's the same analogy we talk about. Listen, God say, put your net out there,
Yes, come on.
and then you sit there like, I don't have nothing in my net. Just wait.
Just wait.
Instead of trying to keep putting that fishing hook out one by one, you got to catch it, reel it back in. By then, I'm already loading up. I'm already frying fish by the time you got 5 fish in your bucket. I'm
Hey,
frying fish, sitting back. Some is in the freezer, some is clean. I done sold some.
that's good.
Come
Oh,
on. Done fed some other people. Come
that's
on.
good. Oh, that's great. Yes. And number two, because I think we were like,
Yeah,
if you
and so
want to keep going, keep going.
number two would be, I would say start with a simple vision board.
Mm,
What is your true passions and desires? And are you creating, I call it a lifestyle business. Are
mm,
you creating a business that complements your lifestyle? So if
yes.
you putting all these things on your vision board, but your prices are low, your services are mediocre, you really don't want to put the time in, you're procrastinating in certain areas. So sometimes, one, a market analysis, two, create that vision board to see how you need to edit your life.
Got it. So another powerful thing you said recently, you said, I don't compete. I don't compete. I
Mhm.
welcome others to aspire to the level where I am. You said it forces me to elevate. It forces me to elevate. And I think you were in your zone. You were just like, I don't compete. Something you said, she said, I don't want nothing but heavyweights. I don't want
You
nothing but
remember
heavyweights.
that?
You remember that? She said, I don't want nothing but heavyweights. So the thing is, we get intimidated by other heavyweights around us, but your philosophy, your mentality is now bring them on. Because if they get in my space, that's going to cause me to do something different. So speak
Woo!
that for people that didn't hear you, because that is so powerful. It seeks to not just be served, but to serve other people. No, I want you to get in this spot. So
Yep.
because you getting in my spot, I'm gonna
Come
have
on.
I can't go back, so that I can only go one way. Come on, take
Come
that.
on. So even with that, with the heavyweights, because a lot of times, even we as women, and I did it when in the start of my business, I'm looking at who's soaring and who's succeeding. I'm like, when is it my time? But
Mm,
what changed for me is when I said, all right, let's do it. You look like you're doing similar to what I'm doing. You look like you're killing the game. Let's how can we all eat? How can we all eat? And so, but what I love about what the so-called the competition, it forces me to say, they're getting too close to my heels.
mm,
What are you doing? Why are you still here? They
mm,
shouldn't even be able to get close to your heels. And it's not a cocky thing. It's
exactly.
us just about elevating. Maybe you've been sitting here too long, because if you have enough time to focus on them, you're not focused on, they should be seeing your smoke. Like, oh, Lucinda, you gone. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay. All right. Dang. All right. We coming up. But it forces everybody to
everybody.
elevate. So while they're trying to compete with me, they're elevating. Well, I'm like, oh shoot, you're getting a little too. Let me go higher, because if I stay here, the people will be able to do a look at it and say, well, she's this price and she's this price. No, 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 no. Or she offers this and she offers. You need to see the difference, and I need to make sure that I'm constantly on 10 steps ahead of myself.
Yes.
Because if I look at, okay, why am I here and why I even need to look at competition, that means that I'm not doing what I need to do. My focus is too heavy on those that are around me versus where I need to go. And so it's for me, it's, listen, nothing but heavyweights, but we got to become the heavyweight as well. Straight total knockouts. Kill the game in media, kill the game in marketing, kill
Kill
the
the
game in your business,
game.
kill the game with your sister, whatever your thing is. kill the game till it's and then go higher. Go
Mm.
higher. And so, that's what I truly believe in, is like I need to go higher, because in my own space, because I'm in competition with myself. I gotta say, well, Lucinda, how are we gonna outdo what you did? And girl, you still can't catch up from Lucinda in 2018, 2019. You playing.
That's
You
the thing.
playing around.
You say that a lot. You play.
You're playing. Why your income look the same as 2018? What is
Oh,
wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You sold the same amount of books? Oh man, you
wow.
playing around. You playing around. So I have to constantly check myself. Like, girl, you better beat Lucinda from 2018.
Wow.
She was off the chain.
That's crazy. That's crazy because you have a conversation with yourself about your old self. And that's good inventory.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good inventory. I know that faith has fueled your life.
Yes.
Talk to other entrepreneurs, talk to other women, and not even from an entrepreneurial standpoint, but how you have how faith has become the bedrock of everything that you do. Because I think a lot of times people think that stuff just happens. It don't just happen for us.
Happen. Mm-mm. 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 And for me, faith is different. And I know a lot of people who's listening and watching this may be able to connect,
Hmm.
because there's some people who just get it, right?
Hmm.
There's some people who just, they got no problem with getting the money. They have no problem getting opportunity. No problem with getting served. But then there's those of us, Lord, that got to work overtime, double time, triple time. And that's me. I'm like, why do I have to work so hard? I mean, I questioned him one time, like, can I just get a break? Like a break, a yes, like I got to work extra hard for what I believe in. And so for me, I needed to lean on faith so that I could stay in the game, so that I could stay. And it showed me that, and God just kept testing my strength. So my faith is extremely strong. There's nothing that I don't believe that God cannot do. And if it doesn't happen, it's not meant to happen. But even still, I need to be sure, because I'll still push it. I got faith that's going to happen, and I move in action. So even in the process of taking action in the faith, right? Because some people say, well, I have faith, I have faith in God, but do you really? Do you really believe in him? Do you really believe in him when your ribs is touching and no clients are calling?
But you know what?
You know,
I do believe sometimes, Lucinda, that people believe in God more than they believe in themselves.
yep. Or they believe in fear more than they believe in God. A lot of people are worshiping fear and doubt more than they worship God.
Talked
And
about
they
that.
and
Talk
and
about
that's
that.
not and that's a whole idol, because if you sit there every day and you wake up and say your prayers every morning, but you don't believe God to turn around for your family, who are you truly believing in? Are we saying, you know what, fear, doubt, the enemy, you're winning? Because a lot of times if we check our spiritual resume,
Mm.
how heavy is your fear accolades? How much more fear and worry and doubt did you have versus trusting God in the process? Because if we show up in church every day, if we're doing our prayers every day, you're sowing seeds, you're fasting, you speak in life, but
Mm.
then behind closed doors, you really worshiping the idol of fear and saying, this can't happen for me. I don't deserve this. I feel guilty for following my dreams. Maybe this is not, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. You building that idol up, and it's going to take over.
So how do you
It's
kill
going to
that
take over.
voice? How do you kill that voice? Because every one of
But
us has that voice. I don't care how much you
yes,
pray and believe that that voice
that voice is
arises.
that voice is there. One, looking at and really being honest with yourself to say, you know what? I'm not living right. And I'm not talking about sin and drinking and all that other stuff. I think the deeper sin is the sin of distraction
Mm.
of what you need to do. So I would say to kill that voice is by saying, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to trust that if I tell him he got to leave out this house, that God's still going to provide. I'm going to trust that when I walk out of this job, because I set myself up and did
Yeah.
the provisions that, we're going to be okay and this business is going to succeed. I'm going to trust that. So it's all about taking drastic and dramatic
Dress.
steps, stuff that makes you sound crazy
Mm.
enough, because we got to get out of our minds. Because like I said, drinking and drugging and sex, all, yeah, okay, we've been there. But the
Yes.
biggest piece is that distraction.
I'm writing
Taking
this down. The sin of distraction. Oh, wow. I'm stuck because there are probably so many people that have been derailed. Their dreams have been derailed by a distraction. And I'm a wordologist. I love words. So that word dis meaning to remove. So you remove the traction, just like it's
You
like
remove the
it's
attraction coming to
yeah,
you because of the distraction.
it's
Absolutely.
a car with bad tires. You won't have that smooth ride, and you're susceptible to anything.
Yep.
Man,
Mm.
it's good. So let's talk about some lighter questions. So if there was a movie about Lucinda Cross, who would play you?
Ooh. Ooh. If there was a movie about me, who would play me? You know who I would love to play me?
Who?
Oh, I can't think of her name. Of course, I want Taraji all over that. I want Taraji P. Henson all over that.
I love it.
Seriously. Yeah, yeah. I want Taraji P. Henson all over it.
I love it. That's awesome. So, what lessons have you learned about love?
Ooh, you know, it's funny you said that. Yeah, seriously, because the lessons I learned about love is that love is truly, they say it's a two-way street. It's really, for me, I say a one-way,
Mm,
meaning that are we on one accord
mm,
in the same direction?
mm,
Because if you're loving this way and I'm loving that way,
mm.
we're gonna love apart,
Wow.
and so I say love is a one-way street, and once we get on the love train, it shouldn't be going two ways.
Yes.
It shouldn't be making too many stops. We should be going in the same direction,
That's
and
good.
don't be late.
And don't be like, I asked this question I do this piece called Five Women You Should Know in the magazine, and I always ask women this question because it's just fascinating to me. If you could wake up anywhere else tomorrow, where would it be?
Probably Maldives.
Maldives. Somebody else has said that one too.
Yeah,
And I'm getting these
yeah.
ideas because every time somebody writes something, I'm like, I need to do that.
Yes.
Awesome. Have you been?
No, I just don't like the long flight.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, 20 hours. I just
I,
came back from Hawaii a few weeks ago.
I saw
That
that.
was 10 hours. I
I
was like,
saw that.
10 out. That was like death. The flight,
But
but
yeah.
next time I fly
Uh-huh.
Hawaiian Airlines, I got to do it first class. They had their whole bed set back
Yeah.
there. So I said, you know
They
what?
have
I
the
could do it
little
like that.
pods things, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's living right there.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Awesome. Another question I ask the women is, what's your superpower?
I My superpower is being able to connect.
Being able to do
I believe I have a great ability to connect and, help with babies leaping, the Mary and Elizabeth
it.
experience,
Mm,
yeah.
man, that's another good analogy that we can take that. And I think that there has been some Mary and Elizabeth moments on this chat that we've been having, and I
Mm.
appreciate you for that. What's another question I asked the women? Uh, what's your kryptonite?
Oh, my kryptonite. I would have to say, is that like your toxic trait or something
Yes,
like
yes,
that?
yes.
Ah, I would say if I'm going through something, I don't want to be bothered.
Mm. So isolation.
Isolation.
Gotcha.
Because people think that I'm an extrovert, I'm always out there. But I am an introvert and I'm fine in my space. And so I'm okay with always going back to my cubby hole. Not that I'm depressed or sad. I just love my space. I'd love it.
I I would never, and I would have bet the farm that you were not an introvert.
Mm-mm.
I would have
No,
bet the farm.
I just do that for God. But I'm like, can I
It's
go?
kind of like your alter ego when you come out as
Yeah, my Sasha Fierce, so to speak. But I like to, after that's all over, it's a challenge. It's like, all right, I'm ready to, can I go back to I want to just go in a little corner with my cup of tea, please,
Yeah.
So that's me. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's good though.
Hmm.
That's good. I mean, that's your authentic self. So, um,
Hmm.
ask another question. If you could give a gift to every, whether tangible or intangible, if you could give a gift to every woman, I usually specifically ask Black women, but to any woman, if you could give a gift to every woman, what would the gift be?
Besides the gift of um, confidence,
Mm,
I think I would give them some flowers. I love sunflowers, so everybody would get a sunflower pot.
love flowers as well. That's awesome. Well, we are coming to the end of our interview. This has been amazing. And I think the last thing that I want you to share just from your heart for other women that are on the process or that are on their journey, just hope and inspiration to believe in themselves. The power that lies on the inside of them. One of those closing TEDx type, going out with a bang type closings.
Hmm. Hmm. I would say, just understand that it's okay to say enough is enough,
Mm,
and I want you to look and see how frustrated you are with certain areas and be willing to say enough is enough. It stops here in order for you to start somewhere else. And so I want you to look at what's enough and give everything that is too much on your plate. Drop the baggage and start writing these 72-hour notices and don't look back.
Did you say 72-hour notices?
They got 72 hours. Got to go. Got to go. Whether it's emotional, uh,
That's good.
relationship, spiritual, whatever it is, financial, an addiction, whatever it is,
Mm,
it's got 72 hours because you have to remove it. Because from here on out, you're starting something new. You're starting something new, and you can no longer take this with you. I say almost take this as a serious warning.
hmm.
Remove it in 72 hours
Wow. And I don't think that,
because greater is coming.
yes, I don't think that's just Lucinda speaking, y'all. I think, I think she got some backup with that one. If
I
you know
got
what I'm
you.
talking about, I felt that.
Ooh,
But yeah,
ooh,
that's and a lot of times we miss out because we don't act, we don't move when we're supposed to move.
yes,
And timing
yes.
is so key to everything. Don't miss your moment. That's all I can.
Enough is enough. Don't miss your moment. Yes,
Tell everybody how they can follow you, find you. Tell us about your
yes,
product offerings. I don't want to miss it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can go to my website, lucindacross.com, grab a book, grab a vision board kit,
Hmm.
check out where I'll be speaking at next.
Yes.
We have some upcoming retreats, getaways
Hmm.
coming up, Bahamas, Jamaica. We have conferences coming up, which is hybrid. So we're
Yes.
just looking to connect. Yeah. So lucindacross.com.
Awesome. Awesome sauce. Man, when are you going to the Bahamas?
We're planning that now. So it looks like it'll be
Is
in
it your event?
October.
Is it your event?
Yep.
Oh,
Hmm.
awesome. Okay, cool. Also, you coming to Texas anytime soon?
I need to make a trip out there. We're gonna make this
We need
happen.
to make that
We're
happen.
gonna talk. We're gonna
Yes,
talk
we need to
offline. Let's
make that
make this
happen.
happen.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
make it
But
happen.
this has been amazing. Thank you for creating this space,
Thank
and
you
I
for
know you
having me.
seriously had to create the space because you're busy. And I just want to thank you for this. I know our readers are going to benefit from our time together. Thank you so very much, and of course, I wish you well in everything that you got coming up,
Yes.
and
Same to you.
want to be a support to you. Really love you. Take care. Okay.
Thank you. Love you
Thank
too. All right then. Bye bye.
you.